Friends, very good evening to all of you. I welcome you all to an important CP meeting on this TCS on supply of goods and the recent circular. So whenever a new law comes, there comes along with it all other issues or clarifications which is required. And we did see when a circular also came to give effect to this TCS section. In fact, there has been a lot of debates going on that when there is already GST, which is capturing each and every transaction, why you require a TCS, where the capturing of information is there. Then whether it's on the billing or receipt of money, many people have started charging TDS on the bill itself. Now the challenge that comes when such thing happens is if the payment comes after, say, in the next financial year, whether there is going to be duplicate TCS because it is on the collection. So likewise, we have got so many doubts. Today we have with us joining our beloved speaker, say Dr. Girish Ahuja. We first of all thank him for giving his time out of his busy schedule in a very short span of time. In fact, I remember his call. He said, "I will not be able to refuse, so let me give some date close it." So thank you so much, Girishji, where you have always given us the love and affection so that we are able to keep listening to you. So before we request the speaker to speak, we are going to introduce somebody who is known to everybody. I request Abhishek Murli to formally introduce the speaker. Abhishek, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Chairman. As he very rightly said, it's a very hot topic right now, and many doubts. I think in the last 15 days, so many doubts have come up from everyone. Not sure where the payment has come, when it is taxable, when the payment received. If it's a old transaction I'm receiving, will TCS be applicable? So many doubts are there, and when the circular came out, even more doubts have now come. So therefore, we were universal in our thought that there's only one person who will dispel all of these doubts, and that is CA Dr. Girish Ahuja sir, who I now have the privilege of introducing. He's a BCom Honours from Shri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University, and he's also an MCom from Shri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi. He's completed his CA in 1970, and he was a rank holder both in the inter and final examination. He's also completed his PhD from the Faculty of Management Studies in Delhi. He's practicing as a chartered accountant, mainly in the field of direct taxes, and I'm sure everyone is aware, he's a nominated member by the Government of India on the task force for redrafting the Income Tax Act to bring out a new income tax law, and they have submitted the report on 18th August 2019 to the Honorable Finance Minister. He's nominated by the Government of India as an independent director to the Central Board of Directors of State Bank of India for 2 terms, and also nominated by the government with the approval of the Supreme Court of India to the board of Unitech Limited. He is an independent director also on Ruchi Soya Industries and various other limited companies. In fact, he is a nominated member of the high-powered committee constituted by the Government of India under the chairmanship of Justice A.P. Shah, who was the Chairman Law Commission of India, and he was looking into the aspects of applicability of MAT provisions for foreign companies and any other provisions applicable to direct tax, which was referred to by the government or CBDT from time to time. He's an author of more than 25 books on direct taxation for both students and professionals, including concise commentary on direct taxes, compendium of issues on income tax and wealth tax, direct tax ready referencer, tax law and practice, guide to TDS, and taxation on capital gains. Every single book which is there in my library, I must add. Also, he's a consultant on tax matters for various industries, non-profit organization, and leading industrialists as well, and has delivered more than 3,200 lectures on various topics of direct tax organized by several professional bodies across India. He's a patron of Tax Law Educare Society, a non-profit making organization, and the main objective of that organization is to educate the general public and professionals on taxation, law, and allied matters. He has been the president of the SRCC, that is Shri Ram College of Commerce Alumni Association, for more than 20 years. In fact, he is repeatedly, the most sought after person. In fact, during the lockdown, I'm sure he will also say more than 200 presentations he's been giving. He's been kind enough to extend his knowledge, his support to various bodies across India, and that's the sort of person he is. In fact, my father used to say, was also a very big fan of Girishji, his presentation is to be cherished, his ideas are relished. If we follow him, we'll be nourished, and the department views will be perished. our practice will flourish, and that is the magic of Dr. Girish. So with this, I welcome him, and he's an inspiration to all of us, especially me. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Welcome.
Abhishek, if I may add, he's our Bhishma Pitama of income tax. For anything we fall upon him, you get the correct view. Girish, over to you, please.
Thank you. Good evening to all. Chairman of the Southern India Regional Council of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, a young, energetic chairman, DC Jainji, and of course, a very bright chartered accountant, Abhishek Murli. Now, although he's known as a son of Mr. V. Murli, few days later you will be seeing that Mr. V. Murli will be told that he is the father of Abhishek Murli. You wait and watch. The way I've also heard many lectures of his. He has been continuously delivering lecture in South Indian Regional Council. I've been noticing, and a very bright secretary of the Institute of Chartered, Southern India Regional. So I wish him all the best in the life. So he's doing a wonderful job. A very good friend, Master V. Murli, his son. So I've been to his house also. It's not that I've been to his house, and I've been privileged to meet everybody there. So today I'm going to talk to you. And before I started, I told Abhishek to keep Income Tax Act before him. Because what is written in the law and what is given in the circular, they are poles apart. They are poles apart. You know, if you read section 2061H, it is something else. But if you go to Abhishek 206C1I, there it is mentioned. No, don't read it. I'll accept. There it is mentioned that the government has assumed the power to issue guidelines if there is any difficulty which to implement this law. Power to remove difficulty. And that has been given under 206C1I. That means they knew it, that there is going to be difficulty in this. Otherwise, power to have difficulty, to remove difficulty is there in the Income Tax Act. But here the special power has been given to them to remove the difficulty under section 206C, subsection 1, clause I. And now I'm reading the section, and I would also like Abhishek to read that section. I will stop him many times to read that section. So I'm starting, and please open the book. We have to read this section. Abhishek, you have to open the book also. What is written? Every person being a seller. Am I right, sir, Abhishek? Every person being a seller who receives any amount as consideration for supply of goods of the value of the aggregate value exceeding rupees 50 lakh in a previous year. Am I right, Abhishek? Now you read it out and I'll tell them what is the problem here. Please read out. Every person
being a seller who receives any amount.
Being a seller. Wait, being a seller.
Yes, yes.
There is a definition of seller given in the explanation, which I will tell you. Now, proceed further.
Every person being a seller who receives any amount as consideration for sale of any goods of the value or aggregate of such value exceeding 50 lakhs rupees in any previous year, other than the goods being
exported out of the country or goods on which TCS have been deducted under section 206C1 or 206C. Are you noticing? 1 or F. 1 or F shall collect tax at the rate of 0.1% on the value of consideration received by him exceeding for a sum exceeding 50 lakh. Am I right? Abhishek, am I right? Now try to understand. Try to understand. Now, if you look up the first two lines, it talks about sale value exceeding 50 lakh. First two lines, that if you receive consideration for supply of goods of the value or aggregate value, of which value? Of the supply of goods exceeding 50 lakh in a year. And last line it is written, he has to collect a tax at the rate of 0.1% of the consideration so received of amount exceeding 50 lakh. Now, if you look up the law, it appears that there are two conditions to be satisfied. It appears that during the year, the sale should be more than 50 lakh. And secondly, during the year, the money received should also be more than 50 lakh. Am I right? If you look up this, because but this is not done. They are not interested in this. Although they have written, they themselves say, we have committed a mistake. How can it be possible that you have to satisfy both the condition? That is, sale value should exceed 50 lakh. And then money received, consideration should be received, should also exceed 50 lakh. Now, current year sale value, I might not be received this year. I may receive next year, or maybe after that. Then how can it be possible? Then therefore, they have brought a circular number 17, dated 29th of September 2020, to remove the difficulty. Now, what is written in circular? Can you notice that you are not bothered about the sale value at all? We are not concerned with the sale value at all. What we are concerned is the consideration received during the year. If it exceeds 50 lakh, you have to collect the TCS at the rate of 0.1%. So therefore, current year sale has no value. Agreed? Current year sale. Rather, even if you have sold the goods 1 year back or 2 years back, but the consideration is received during the year and it exceeds 50 lakh, you have to collect the TCS. Are you getting my point? What a different story altogether. You have sold the goods year back, last year, 1920. You are receiving the money in 2021, and that too after 1st October you have to see. You know that it is applicable from 1st October. So if during the year up to 30th September, you have received 80 lakh, let's say, no collection of TCS. You have received 40 lakh, no collection of TCS. Now, on or after 1st October 2020, if you have already received 80 lakh, then on or after 1st October 2020, even if you receive 10 rupees, you have to collect TCS at the rate of 0.1%, because that 50 lakh limit is already over before 30th September. Am I right? But suppose you have already received 40 lakh, then on or after 1st October, you have to wait. Up to 50, there is no need. So up to 10 lakh received, there is no TCS to be collected. The moment it increased 50 lakh, then you have to collect. So my point is, for calculating the figure of 50 lakh, you have to see the whole year from 1st of April, from 1st April. But for collecting the TCS, you have to collect only from 1st of October. So even if you have received before 1st October 1 crore, 2 crore, no TCS for that. But on or after 1st October, if you have already crossed the limit of 50 lakh, you will start collecting it. Is this clear? You will start collecting it. But suppose you have collected only 30 lakh up to 30th September. And from the same party, you are receiving on or after 1st October 20. Next 20 lakh, no TCS. After 20 lakh, because 30 plus 20, 50, it crosses 50, you will start collecting TCS at the rate of 0.1%. Is this point first clear? Abhishek, is it clear to you that you have not to do, you have nothing to do with the sale value? When did sale take place? We are not concerned. Sale might have taken place earlier. Sale might have taken place 2 years back. Sale might have taken place in April. I'm not concerned. I am concerned with what is the amount received during the year. And the moment it exceeds 50 lakh, I'm supposed to collect. But if it has already crossed 50 lakh before 1st October, no worry, no worry, no worry. I will collect from 1st October. But if you have not exceeded 50 lakh till 1st of October, I still have to wait up to 50 lakh, and thereafter I will start collecting. Is this clear? First point. The point number 1 says this. That's why they say, even if you have received amount in advance, you have to collect the TCS if the total amount received during the year, whether the sale is yet to be made, including the sale made in the past, exceeds 50 lakh, you will have to take it. Versus consideration received has nothing to do with the relationship of sale made in the past, consideration received during the year, whether already sale made or yet to be made. The moment it exceeds 50 lakh, you have to collect it. This is just like 48.3. Remember in 48.3, if you receive an advance more than 10,000 rupees, remember that should be received by way of account paid check or account paid draft or through electronic clearing system. Otherwise, the moment you spend that money, whenever the bill comes, you will be liable to pay. That will be not allowed as deduction because the advance is towards the supply of goods or maybe towards some expenses. So that is also included. So therefore, even if we have received the advance, the goods have not been supplied yet, but it is for the supply of goods in future, you will have to include it and collect the TCS at the rate of 0.1%. Is this clear first? That's 0.1%. I said, okay, sir. But tell me, supply of goods. Nowhere you have written supply of goods of the business. Nowhere it is written. So Abhishek, first thing is, what do you mean by goods? They have not defined goods. You know that because you are very good at income tax also. You know that when the definition is not given, you will have to look for other law. In the other law, which law would you see? Sale of Goods Act or GST? Sale of Goods Act is the cousin brother. With a long distant relation. Who is my real brother? Or who is very close to me? GST. Direct tax brother is indirect tax. Am I right or wrong? Direct tax brother is not GST. Why? Sorry, not the Sales of Goods Act. Why should I give Sales of Goods Act? I would see the GST Act. In the GST Act also there is Central CGST Act. There is supply of goods. They have told what is that goods. They exclude services there. But wait, there they have given exemption for share and securities. Although it is goods, share and securities are goods, but they have given exemption that there is no GST on shares and securities. But here in this, they have come out with a circular, and the circular says if you sell the shares or security through recognized stock exchange or through clearing corporation, in that case, TCS is not to be collected. What do you mean by that? If you sell those shares off market, even if listed off market, Abhishek, or if you sell the share of unlisted company and you receive the money more than 50 lakh, will it be covered? Answer is it should be covered. But wait, it should be covered. Then I ask them where it is written, share is not a business, it is a capital asset. And I am selling those shares of a closely held company because in the case of closely held company, there cannot be a business income. It has to be capital gain. But they say where we have written that's the sale of goods in the business. But let me tell you, when you have to qualify to become to collect the tax, read the definition of seller. And in the case of seller definition, they have included that the sale from the business should exceed 10 crores. Now read out the meaning of seller. Read the meaning of seller in the explanation. I will read. Please read out meaning of seller. This for the benefit of everyone. He is reading out the meaning of seller, please.
The
Same
meaning of
section
seller.
below.
Yes, seller means a person whose total sales, gross receipts, or turnover from the business carried on by
Please
him.
note the word from the business. From the business. Whose total sales or turnover from the business. Now, again, go.
Yes, seller means a person whose total sales, gross receipts, or turnover from the business carried on by him exceeds 10 crore rupees during the financial year immediately preceding the financial year in which the sale of goods is carried out.
Correct. Wait a minute. Then read out later. We'll let us stop here. Meaning thereby, if we have to, when we become responsible for collecting the tax, only when my last year turnover exceed 10 crore of goods. Of which goods? Of the business carried on by me. Here the word business is used. Here the word business is used. That when we have to see whether we have to collect, I must be carrying on a business last year. And my turnover should be more than 10 crore. my turnover should be more than 10 crore. Am I right? Am I right? My turnover should be more than 10 crore. That means if I'm not carrying on a business, then there is no question of TCS to be collected. Am I right? Now, there is an individual who is not carrying on a business. He's selling his jewelry. There is a capital gain, and jewelry value is more than 50 lakh. Does he need to collect the TCS? Answer is no. Answer is no. But suppose he's carrying on a business. The business is not of jewelry. Business is something else. And last year turnover, the business exceed 10 crore. And he's selling his jewelry, personal jewelry, and not but jewelry is a goods. In above section, they have not used sale of goods of the business. They are saying sale of goods. Jewelry includes goods, goods includes jewelry. Meaning thereby, if I have a turnover of more than 10 crore last year, and during the year, I sell my jewelry, I sell my shares, which are not my stock in trade, even then, the value received during the year of goods as well as jewelry exceeds 50 lakh, I will have to collect the TCS or not? Am I right or wrong? Because when you come to the section, there it is no word used sale of goods of the business, or he's carrying on a business and sell the goods. Nowhere it is written carrying on the business and selling the goods. But for qualifying, for taking the compliance, for compliance purpose, you will be only covered when your turnover or the sale or the receipt, gross receipt of the business in the immediate preceding previous year exceed 10 crore. Am I right or wrong? So to become for compliance purpose, I should carry on a business. But for collecting the TCS, then the sale may not be of a business. Sale may be of a capital asset, because goods includes movable property. Goods do not include immovable property. Please note the word. Goods do not include immovable property, because immovable property are not goods. And in the case of immovable property, otherwise, Abhishek, there is section 194(1)(a). Because if you read the second proviso of this section, it says there is no need to, this section will not be applicable if you have deducted the tax at source. It is written there, and you read, provided further that, in the proviso there, provided further that second proviso. He says if TDS is deducted, 194(1)(a) TDS is deducted, nothing. But wait for a minute. Now, Vishay, I am carrying on a business and you are not carrying on a business, let's say. You sell jewelry for 1 crore, you sell jewelry for 2 crore, you sell your share for 1 crore, you received more than 75 during the year, but you are not carrying on a business last year, you need not collect it. Am I right? You need not collect it. But I was carrying on a business last year, my turnover is more than 10 crore, and I sell my goods like jewelry, not my inventory, my personal asset, or I sell my shares of listed company, off market or unlisted company, even if it is a capital asset, but it is goods, I will have to collect TCS. Are you getting my point? I will have to collect TCS. For coming under 206(c)(1)(h), your turnover of the last year is seen, and it should be of the business carried on by you. But for compliance, for applying the section 206(1)(h), you need not to sell the goods of the business. It is not the inventory you are selling. You are selling any capital asset. And it is, if it is goods, if it is movable, you will have to collect. Is it okay, Abhishek? Another point, Abhishek. I asked them, you said it should exceed 10 crore. Now tell me whether 10 crore includes GST or it will exclude GST. Try to understand. My last year turnover is 11 crore including GST, let's say, and GST was 18%. So if I deduct GST, my turnover will be less than 10 crore. So I'm not covered. But if I include GST, I'll be covered. If you look up the guidance note of the Institute of Chartered Accountants India for audit of accounts, they say GST is not to be included. If you look up 194(j) section for TDS, they said GST not to be collected, TDS not to be collected under 194(g), J for, well, or even 94(I). But wait here. But problem is, when you see the circular, in the circular they have said that when you sell the goods, when you collect the amount, GST is not to be deducted. Have you noticed that point? That I got it done. I got it done. Why I'm telling you? I'll explain you. I gave him a call. I've been talking to them regularly. Today also I wanted to talk to him. He was busy. I gave him a call. Look here, sir. I am on the board of Ruchi Soya. I'm on the board of, let's say, Patanjali Group, Ramdev ji. In Patanjali, they have three types of rate of GST. One rate is Abhishek 5%. Another rate is 12%. And for cosmetic, the rate is 18%. Suppose Patanjali has sold goods worth rupees 2 crore, which includes some sale of 5%, some sale of 12%, some sale of 18%. So they have charged it, sold goods to you. Now they are collecting payment and you have given on account payment of 1.5 crore. Now how do I know which GST to be deducted? 5%, 12% or 18%? He said, suggest me what should we do. I said, how much amount of GST? 0.1% is nothing. Let it be very simple. So that's why they've used the word GST not to be deducted from the consideration. They have used the word GST not to be deducted from the consideration. Although under 194J, they said while collecting TDS, GST is to be excluded. But here they have included the GST. Okay, simplified. Simplification because I may not have to apply my mind. Sometimes you may also. So there is some other dealer, he may be having 2 rates, 3 rates, 4 rates. How can you stop him having different item of different rate? And he will be puzzled. How would you deduct? So I said it is not a very big amount. Okay, including GST. But I told him, please let me know at least last year turnover. Should I deduct GST or not? He said deduct. I said where it is written? Because here one reg circular you are saying GST on consideration to be included. In the other case you are not. Please clarify. If I go to the institute price, it should be deducted. This is a case of a borderline. My dear, it is a case of a borderline. If it is a case of 20 crore, I am not bothered GST deducted or not deducted. My turnover is more than 10 crore, there is no problem. But my turnover is 11 crore. GST was 18%. If I deduct the GST, I am not covered under TCS. And if I don't deduct the TC, I will be covered under GST. Please explain. And then second point, suppose this time my turnover is 14 crore. Okay, GST, okay, I will deduct. Next year, due to pandemic, next year, 21-22, last year sale will be less. And it is less than 10 crore. Then I'm not supposed to collect it next year. Are you getting my point? I have to be very careful. If I am covered or not covered, I have to see my last year turnover. Today in 2021, I have to see the turnover 1920. That time pandemic was not there. That time lockdown was not there. My sale could have been more than 10 crore. Okay, I'm covered. But next year, due to pandemic, due to this close down, my sale will come down. And the moment I sale will come down, I am not to deduct next year, not to collect next year in 21-22. So one has to be very careful. First, you should be covered under TCS, then only you will apply this section. And you will be covered under TCS only when your last year turnover exceed 10 crore. And that they have not yet explained whether GST to be excluded or not. According to me, GST should not be taken because of the institute guidance note. This is a different story in circular because to avoid that problem of deducting and the amount was very less, 0.1%, we said okay. Then I asked him, why were you interested in bringing this law? Tell me one thing. This law, what is the advantage of this law? The consideration received, and they said we don't have any section, otherwise section 206C1 where TDS is there on goods. There was a TCS on goods only under section 206C1 where it is for scrap, it is for wood, it is for timber, it is for items like BD, tobacco product, or all those days. But there is no other way. But here it is, you are saying it's okay. Then they have said, look here. Suppose I sell scrap for more than 60 lakh during the year and I collect money. Do I have need to collect TCS? Answer is no. Why not? Because TCS has already been collected on scrap under section 206C subsection 1. There 1% is collected. You know that. You have just read that other than goods which are exported or other than goods which are covered under 206C1 or 206C G. You know that. You have already said that. So my point is, if you are selling the goods, selling the scrap, and even the money received is more than 50 lakh, scrap value collection not to be included. Scrap value collection not to be included under 206C1H because scrap on scrap, the TCS has already been collected under 206C subsection 1. Clear, sir? Already collected under 206C subsection 1. Similarly, there are other goods in 206C1 where TCS is collected. If it has been collected there, you have to exclude that amount from the consideration. You have to exclude that amount from the consideration because on that TCS has already been collected, the section itself says. Now I'm coming to the cars. Abhishek, listen to me carefully. Car. You know that when cars sold by B2B, means manufacturer to dealer or dealer to dealer, even if the price of the car is more than 10 lakh, there is no TCS to be collected. Dealer to dealer. There is already explained this. Dealer to dealer. But if I sell from B to C, that means dealer to consumer, and if the price of the car is more than 10 lakh, TCS is collected. You know that TCS is collected under 206C1G. So if you have purchased a car or I have purchased a car and that car, the value is more than 10 lakh, and we are consumer, you are consumer, you are not a dealer, then TCS has already been collected in a 2061G. Here it will not be collected. Here it will not be collected. But wait, if you buy cars for your business or for your profession, 9 cars of 8 lakh rupees each, 9 cars of 8 lakh rupees each, did they deduct, did they collect TCS? Because TCS to be collected only when the value of the car is more than 10 lakh. Here the value of car is 8 lakh. Am I right? Value of car is only 8 lakh and you have purchased 9 cars. In this case, TCS has not been collected under section 206C1G, but it will be collected under 206C1H. Am I right? Consumer purchase car more than 10 lakh. TCS already collected in a 206C1G. No collection here. Consumer have purchased cars 8 lakh rupees each, 9 cars, and received a payment. Seller has received payment of 72 lakh. Is seller bound to collect TCS? Answer is yes, because no TCS has been collected under 206C1G because the value of the car, each car was less than 8 lakh. Clear? Clear? Now B2B. You know that B2B, no collection of TCS under 206G. Now, if Maruti sells car to the dealer, to its dealer, they will have to collect the TCS if the amount received during the year by Maruti is more than 50 lakh. Because it was not there under 206C1G, B2B was not covered under TCS. But they will be covered under 206C1H because the seller has made a sale to the buyer. Buyer is a dealer, seller is also a manufacturer, and they have collected more than 50 lakh as consideration. The TCS will have to be collected at the rate of 0.1%. Is this clear? Sir, is this clear? TCS has to be collected. So this is also a point of the cars purchased. So B2B, normally there is no TCS under 206C1G. But B2B, there will be a TCS under section 206C1H if the amount received during the year is more than 50 lakh. B2C, if the car value is more than 10 lakh, TCS already collected, you don't have to collect here. But B2C, if each car is less than 8 lakh, but total amount received during the year for all the cars is more than 50 lakh, you will have to collect the TCS under 206C1H. This I wanted to tell you. Now another issue. Abhishek, you read the section of buyer, definition of a buyer, and then I will tell you many things. Buyer means
a person who purchases any goods but does not include A, the central government, a state government, an embassy, high commission, legation, commission, consulate, and trade representative of foreign state, or B,
All
a local authority as defined
C.
in the explanation, or C, a person importing goods into India, or any other person as the central government
as may be
may.
notified. Okay,
Yes.
as may be notified.
Yes.
Wait a minute. I am selling goods to the central government. Do I need to collect TCS? No, I need not collect the TCS. But Abhishek, I'm selling goods to this University of Delhi, University of Madras. Is University a government? No. University of Madras is filing a return under section 1023C 3IAB, that is means wholly funded by the government. Yeah, you know that University of Madras, wholly funded by the government. Now, if they buy furniture from me for more than 1 crore and I receive payment from the university more than 75 lakh during the year, now this I will collect the tax from university. Although the income of university is exempt, but I have to collect. They have not given that if you sell goods to university, their income is exempt. Now they will have to ask for a refund of the money because they are buying so many things. University of Madras, University of Delhi, or any other, they are buying so many goods. But if I make a sale to central government, okay. Sale to state government, no problem. Sale to local authority, but university does not come under local authority. University does not come under state government. University does not come under, it is a separate autonomous body. And it has to file a return. Now it is mandatory to file a return, although their income is totally exempt. Under section 1023C subclause 3 IAB, there are so many hospitals funded by the government whose income is exempt. But when I sell goods to them, they will have to collect the TCS. I am selling to the public sector undertaking, I'll have to collect TCS. I'm selling to the government authorities. You know, there are certain government authorities, Abhishek, whose income is exempt under 1046 if they are notified by the income tax CBDT. Their income is exempt, very good, like Lucknow Development Authority, Delhi Development Authority, or you may be also having a development authority in your state. Now, these development authorities are not government. They are separately created by the parliament or created by the state government. Their income is exempt only when it is notified under section 10 clause 46. Now they have to, now I will, if I sell goods to them, they will also have to, we'll have to collect the TCS. And if I collect TCS, there is no system given under 206C subsection 9 that you can take a lower rate of certificate, which is only there for 206C1. You cannot apply for lower rate of certificate or nil rate of certificate. Whereas you can apply for 206C1, lower or nil rate of certificate. But here the power is not given. You read 2069, there only it is said that. That means even if I sell to any organization whose income is exempt, but they are not central government, they are not state government, I will still have to collect a TCS from them. National Highway Authority of India, I sell goods to them, I will have to collect. Their income may be exempt, I'm not bothered, but I will have to collect TCS from them. There may be income of somebody whose income may be exempt under 1046, but I will have to collect TCS because their income may be exempt. I sell to somebody of scheduled tribe, and scheduled tribe income is exempt under section 10. Now, if I sell goods to them, now the TCS will be collected, and if TCS is collected, they will have to file a return. Although they are not supposed to file a return, they will have and collect the TCS back. There is no system of applying a lower rate of certificate or a nil rate of certificate. You read section 206C9, read out. Let the others know what is written in 206C subsection 9. Please read out. I can't hear you. You mute.
Yes, sir. I just unmuted. Where the assessing officer is satisfied that the total income of the buyer or licensee or lessee justifies the collection of tax at any lower rate than the relevant rate specified in subsection 1 or subsection 1C, the assessing officer shall
only subsection 1 and 1C. Only section 1 and 1C. Okay. Read.
The assessing officer shall, on an application made by the buyer or licensee or lessee, give to him a certificate for collection of tax at a lower rate or such lower rate than the relevant rate as specified in subsection 1 or subsection 1C.
See, first thing is, he has a power to give certificate only for lower rate and not nil rate. Not nil rate. Agreed? That means some TCS has to be collected. Now I told them, you have not given this power. He said, how much TCS I am collecting? 0.1. And you want me to give to the lower than 0.1? So that's why we have not included it. Although you have not included, but we will have to collect, and they will have to apply for refund. They will have to file their return. There are many organizations which are not supposed to file return. Suppose Provident Fund organization. Sir, regional Provident Fund organization. Provident Fund organization is a separate body. Their income is exempt under 1025. ESI fund income is exempt. Now they buy furniture for their office and more than 75 lakh. And I am a seller. Do I need to collect tax? Yes, I will have to collect tax if the amount received is more than 50 lakh. Now Provident Fund people are not supposed to file return. Now they will have to file a return to collect TCS. They have not given any exemption. And I'm telling them, you have a power to notify. Kindly notify them so that the TCS may not be collected. They have not yet notified. Meaning thereby, I will have to collect the TCS from them, come what may. Otherwise, where will I go? I will be committing a default. Let them say that we will not pay. How can you not pay? It is an obligation. Now EPO says, Employee Provident Fund Organization says, why should we pay? We don't have to pay any tax. We don't have to file any return. Now you want us to collect tax, and we have to take credit of that. I can't help it. The law is law. The law is law. Either they should issue a notification and say these types of organizations who are not supposed to file return of income because of the exemption under section 10 you may not deduct the TCS. Then only I'll be able to do it. Or you give the definite name of those organizations. They have not given the name. So we are still finding a difficulty how to collect, but I will have to collect from all organizations who are not central government, who are not state government, who are not embassy, who are not legislation, who are not I'll have to collect from them 0.1% if the amount received during the year exceed 1 crore, 50 lakh. I will have to collect from there if it exceeds 50 lakh. I can't help it. I have not to pay from my pocket. I have to collect it. This is the issue where every compliance has gone up. Not for me. I have to otherwise comply. But the compliance of those persons who are not supposed to file a return of income, but they will have to file a return of income to claim the refund. Otherwise, they will not get the refund of TCS which is collected from by me from him. Are you getting my point? This is another issue where we are, because we have read that definition of a buyer, and buyer clearly says the central government is not a buyer, state government is not a buyer, embassy is not a buyer, high commission is not a buyer, legation is not a buyer, but one who is not a government or a central government, we will have to collect from them. Then said goods imported into India. Now, let me tell you a very important point. Abhishek, try to understand. I am a seller. No, I have imported some goods for myself from Germany. From Germany, I am importing goods. On high sea, when the goods are still in the high sea, I sold the goods to B. I sold the goods to B of India. Sale by A to B on high sea. High sea means before it crossed the custom station of India. High sea. So seller is in India. Buyer also is in India. Now, the question is, seller says, I am selling the goods. When I am selling the goods, seller covers everyone, but does not cover who exports the goods to a country outside India. I'm not exporting. I'm not exporting. I'm selling. So from the point of view of seller, I'm covered. But wait, from the point of view of buyer, I'm not covered. Why? Because I am importing goods into country in India, which I have bought on high sale. So therefore, if both the definitions are not correct, seller should also be covered, buyer should also be covered, only then TCS to be collected. Here, seller may be covered, but buyer is not covered because he is importing goods into India. So according to me, if I buy goods on high seas, say, the seller might be covered, but since I am not covered, I'm not a buyer, so he should not collect the TCS in that case. He should not collect the TCS in that case. Are you getting my point? Little difficult point, because seller has to collect from the buyer. That means I can collect only for that buyer who's covered. If that buyer is not covered, how can I collect? If the buyer is central government, can I collect? No. If the buyer is state government, can I collect? No. If buyer is a local authority, can I collect? If the buyer is importing goods into India, can I collect? No, I cannot collect. So therefore, high sea sale. Many people have told in their deliberation that on high sea sale, seller have to collect. According to me, no. Although seller is covered, but because buyer has imported into India, he's not covered. He's not covered. So therefore, no TCS. Now another point, Abhishek, I sell goods to special economic zone. Is it export to the country outside India? No. I selling goods to export processing zone or a special economic zone or EOU unit. It is not export of goods outside India. I'm not exporting. They will be exporting outside India. So according to me, if I sell goods to special economic zone and I collect money from them more than 50 lakh, I will have to collect TCS because it is not export to a country outside India. It is not export to a country outside India. It is export to a special economic zone or a gift city in India. It is not a country out. I'm not exporting outside India. I'm selling here. So it will be collected. Now, another question somebody asked me, sir, I am a seller. I said, okay. I sold the goods on high sea, but I have sold the goods to a buyer who is also not in India. Goods came from Germany, and on high sea, I sold the goods to somebody in Sri Lanka. High sea sale. Is it export to a country outside India? I said, this is outside the jurisdiction sale, and the purchaser is outside the jurisdiction. According to me, no collection of TCS. No collection of TCS. Another issue now. Abhishek, try to understand my issue. I sell goods to you, Abhishek, for 2 crores during the year. You sell goods to me for 1.60 crore in same year. I sold goods to you for 2 crore. You will sell the goods to me for 1.60 crore. So I can recover from you on 40 lakh only. Am I right? So do I need to collect TCS? They have no answer to that. Because I said you have used the word, the amount, he has received an amount as consideration. Is book adjustment an amount received? Now they have no answer. He said, we'll come out with more circular. I said, I wanted to check them today. Please issue the circular. People will ask me. I sell goods to Abhishek, Abhishek sell two goods to me, and the net effect is only 40 lakh during the year. And if it is a deemed collection, then both will have to collect. If it is a deemed collection, I will also collect, you will also collect. Now they have no answer to that. They have no answer to that. Book adjustment say they have no answer, and you will have to wait. According to till they give the answer, you need not collect because it is not an amount. And they have agreed with me, till that time you may not collect. I don't know, they don't know the answer. This is sale to you, sale to me. What can I do? Tell me. Then the next question I asked them, sir, I have gone for bill discounting. I have sold goods to Maruti for rupees 2 crore. I went for discounting of the bill, and the bank has given me 90%. Now tell me, at what time I have to collect the TCS? Are you getting my point? At what time I have to collect the TCS? I told them the answer. They could not answer. I said, when you are discounting the bill, the money which you have received from bank is only a loan. It's a discounting of the documents. It is only a loan. If the buyer does not make the payment, I have to make the payment to the bank. It is a loan which is chargeable to tax interest also. So you don't have to collect TCS when you have discounted the bill. But when finally the 10% payment comes to the bank, we hand it over to me, I will have to collect the TCS from my buyer. From my buyer. Buyer has made the payment to the bank, but I have to collect from my buyer. Are you getting my point? Discounting. Bill discounting, money received from bank. Where is the question of collection of TCS? No, it is a loan to me. It is not a collection at all. It is a loan basically. When my banker collect final 10% and give it to me, that is that. And sometimes I don't go for bill discounting. I go for bill collection. I tell the bank to collect the money on my behalf. You know that is also possible. 30 days credit or 60 days credit or promissory note, or on demand the payment is collected. So where from I will collect? The bank will collect on my behalf, but TCS have to collect from whom? Not from bank. I have to collect the TCS only from the buyer of the goods, and not the bank is not the buyer of the goods. The buyer of the goods is the buyer to whom I have made the bill. But since I don't know you, I bank send the check to the documents to the bank, not discounting, just send the document to the bank to collect on my behalf, and bank is collecting on my behalf. So bank is my agent. So therefore, I will have to collect the TCS at the time when the payment is made by the buyer to me. Again a problem. Again a problem. Issues. This is an issue. Then I told them, sir, you are telling me that you have to collect, but tell me can I charge this TCS in my bill? No answer. He says, you are accounting people, you know better than we know. I said, what is this? Now what SAP people have done, a very big mistake SAP people have done. SAP, understand SAP. SAP people have said, give us the balance of 30th September, all your debtors. Balance of debtors to whom you have sold goods. If it is, give us the balance. And there we should debit note for that to the debtors. And for future bill, they have added TCS charge in the bill itself. How can you do that in the bill, my dear? Suppose next year the payment received is less than 50 lakh. You have already charged that, but you don't have to collect. Are you getting my point? You don't have to collect. Now SAP people are big people. They may be for big manufacturers, of course, big dealers, their sale may be more than 50 lakh. But for small scale or medium scale, how can it be every time it is more than 50 lakh collection? How can I charge in the bill? And if I charge in the bill and I don't collect it, then what is the point? I will not be able to tally my account. So my suggestion is, either when you receive the payment, suppose you have received the payment after 50 lakh, 10 lakh. How much TCS to be collected? 1,000. Only 1,000. I'm not taking the 25% discount. Otherwise, it is 0.0075 now for few days. For few days up to 31st March, it is not 0.01%, 0.1%. It is 0.075% because of 25% concession. But let's say I collected 1,000. I have one way of linking bank account debit to party account 9,99,000 and TCS collection 1,000, and then I deposit it. And second way is that I issue a debit note, and it is better to issue a debit note at the end of each month instead of giving one each every time collecting the payment. You should raise a debit note at the end of each month and collect the amount. You will say, but I have to deposit the money by 7th. I can't help it. Even if you receive money less, then also you have to deposit. So please, the better way is to issue a debit note monthly or every time you receive more than from debit note. You will be able to reconcile your accounts. But if you are going to raise in the bill and thereafter the amount received is less than 50 lakh, reconciliation problem will be there. So reconciliation problem. I can't understand you raise a bill of the debit note of whatever money is outstanding on 30th September 2020. They have raised the bill already for 0.1%. I can't help it. Are you getting my point? These are the issues which we are facing day in, day out. These are the issues which we are facing day in, day out. Everybody is asking me, sir, what will happen if I sell electricity? Sir, if there is a electricity bank, They sell to the another electricity distributor, no problem. But if in my factory the consumption is more than 50 lakh and the supply agency, those who supplying electricity to me, is receiving money from me, is a seller of electricity to me, they will collect a TCS at the rate of 0.1% because electricity is also being taken as goods. Electricity is also being taken as goods. So electricity also TCS will be collected by the supplying agency. But if there is an electricity supplier to the another electricity supplier, that is bank, we call it as electricity, a power exchange. If the power exchange give it to the another exchange, there is no need to collect the TCS. But if that power distribution unit sell it to me, there is a period to be collect TCS. Are you ready? If the power grid sell goods to BCS or Tata Power Supply, no TCS. But if the Tata Power Supply gives to me as I am a consumer, they will have to collect the TCS if my bill, a payment during the year of electricity is more than 50 lakh, they will collect TCS from me. This is another issue. Then I asked them, suppose I buy a machinery for 1 crore and there is installation charges of 5 lakh. Now what will happen in this case? Will I have to collect on 1 crore 5 lakh? Then they have no answer. I said, look here, if there is a installation charges, I will collect under 194C, separate on 5 lakh, under 194C TDS, and the balance I will on 1 crore, I will collect TCS under section 206. Sir, man, one will go mad to find out what is to be done. If TDS collected, TCS not to be collected. If TCS already collected, TDS not to be collected. You will keep on doing this. Then a question came to me, Abhishek, that I have sold the scrap. Sold the scrap. But that scrap is, I have sold my goods, which is reusable. Then it is not treated as scrap. And I have given 20, I have sold the goods, which is covered under 206C1, but it is reusable. You know, then it is not treated as scrap. It is then not treated as scrap. But now tell me one thing, I have given 27C. 27C says that if you buy a goods which you are going to use for manufacturing purposes, then there is no need to collect TCS on further manufacturing. Let's say this happens. I have given 27C. Did I collect TCS under 206C1? I did not collect. Now, do I need to collect the TCS under 206C1H because I have not collected there? I have no answer. Because 27C has been, I was covered under 206C1, but due to that 27C, the proviso, I am not supposed to collect. Now, give me the answer. I am not supposed to collect. Then I have not collected any under 206. Here you have written that if you are collected under 206C1, you are not to collect here. I have no answer to give. I still know I have answer to give. Still it is doubtful. According to me, you were liable there and you are given exemption there. So therefore it should not be covered here. But then they give the example B2B motor car, and B2B motor car was not covered under 206C1G. But is it not covered under 206C1H? It is covered. It is covered. So I'm in a fix. So I will have to take it. Even that 27C, I will have to ignore that. I will have to collect under 206C1H because the example of that circular where B2B covered under 206C1, motor car B2B, although it was not covered under 206CG. So I can't help it. This is another issue we are facing. There is another issue when you are selling the goods, when you are recovering, there is another issue which we are facing. And please note, I have to file my quarterly return. I have to deposit the money on the 7th of the next month and I have to file my quarterly return. If I don't file my quarterly return, I'm liable for a penalty of 10,000 minimum, maximum 1 lakh. And besides that, if I collect the TCS, I have to deposit.
Girish sir, I think we have lost your audio. Abhishek?
Girish,
Girish
I cannot hear. Girish, we are not able to hear you.
Once again, I'll just check if there is any problem. No, his mic says on. Giri sir, we
it's got
lost your
loose.
audio.
Sir, maybe your plug has got
Pardon me?
loose.
You are not able to hear me?
Now it's fine.
Okay, sir.
Now
now
okay.
I don't know what is happening. I don't know. So where was I? I don't know.
Last
Where
30
did I
seconds, sir.
stop?
Last line, only 2 seconds we lost, sir.
I said I have sold goods of timber or the product. I've been told that if you are 27C, you give for purpose of manufacturing, then you need not collect the TCS under 206C1. This is there. You know that. I mean, Abhishek, you know that. There is no need to collect the TCS if that is going to be used for manufacturing and I give a certificate. Now, suppose I give a certificate. Do I cover under 20C1H? Because read section beginning. Other than read section from the top. Other than read, my dear.
1 second. Yes. Every person being a seller who receives any amount as consideration for sale of any goods of value or aggregate of such value exceeding 50 lakhs in any previous year, other than the goods being exported out of India or goods covered under subsection 1 or subsection 1F or subsection 1G, shall at the time of receipt of such a
Now, are they covered under 206C1? They are covered. They are covered. Am I right? Because the goods are of that nature. But am I collecting TCS on that? I'm not collecting. Agreed? Agreed? Should I collect under 206C1H? Question. Now come to the circular. Circular says that motor car, if you B2B, you were not covered under 206C1G. They had given exemption. Otherwise, cars more than 10 lakh. But since B2B, there is no, because there is no buyer. Dealer to dealer is not a buyer. You are not covered. Then you are covered under 206C1H. Now the question here is, there is a doubt. Although I am covered under 206G, 201, where I am covered? Because I have given 27C. So that means I am not covered. So can I say that I have to do under 206C1H? Doubt or not doubt? There is definitely a doubt, and I think I have to collect it. I will have to collect it if I give 27C. Are you getting it? Because I'm not covered under 2061. Because the word uses you, if you are covered under 206C1, it is not that if it is deducted. It does not use the word if it is deducted under 206C1. It says if it is covered under 206C1 or 206C-F or G. Am I covered? Sir, I am covered. Not covered because 27C is given. Because 27C I am not covered. Then they will say you are covered under 206CG. Please give us the test. Are you getting my point? This is also an issue which will have to be there. This is also an issue which will have to be there. So I will have to collect on the TCS even if I give to 27C, provided the amount exceed 50 lakh received during the year. I will have to collect. I can't help it. There are many questions I'm telling you. If you have any other question, you can ask in between. I'll again come back to many issues. But if you have any question, or if there is already question you asked by somebody, it will be added to my knowledge. Please ask the question if you have. I have so many questions in my mind. I have to tell you that. But ask if there is.
Chairman, are we audible? Chairman, you are not audible.
No, I've just unmuted myself. I'll put the questions you have collected as of now.
Yes.
In fact, a lot of interesting questions have come. Just I'll share the screen 1 second.
I have also answered the interesting question, my dear.
Yeah, no, you have already covered the repetitions actually.
Tell me.
Abhishek, once you're able to see the screen, let me know. Is it visible? Okay.
Should I read out or you have to read out? I can read out.
Visible, sir.
You can read out. Okay.
Would it be advisable to include the tax invoice and collect tax at source on the invoice value and credit to the TCS account and adjust the TDS account as and when TCS paid? Sir, you will not be able to reconcile your account. What really happens is, if you are every year you are receiving more than 50 lakh, there is absolutely no problem. But if 1 year you don't receive 50 lakh, that year you have not to collect the TCS, how would you do that? How would you have already charged. How would you reconcile the TDS account? You will be showing TDS payable or whatever way. And secondly, by chance you are out of this because your turnover is less than 10 crore, again you are out. Again, there is a problem. So according to me, the best way, Mr. Venkatamana Reddy, is that you should raise the debit note, or you credit whenever you receive the payment at time, you credit the TCS and deposit it. But raising that SAP system, I have not liked it. But now they are defending themselves. They are defending themselves because they have already prescribed that let us raise the debit note up to 30th September, and then we will charge the TCS and we will have to account and show as a payable. Something I can't understand. Another gentleman, Guruji, acha, he has already made me Guru, of course. I have a couple of the following doubts with respect to 206C1H. Please clarify them. Whether section 206C1 is applicable to builder or not. If not, why? Because they are selling flats to outsider. Sir, it is immovable property. And when it is the immovable property, it is not treated as goods. Immovable property, it is not a goods. It is only movable property which is goods. But builder which is buying from us, if the builder is a buyer of building material and I am selling to him, I have to collect it because that is movable item. I sell cement to builder, I have to collect it. But if the builder is selling flat, it is immovable property. Already 192, 190, 194 IA. If it is more than 50 lakh, will be TDS collected. Otherwise, also immovable property, it's not goods. They are not treated as goods, so not to collect. Second, whether 2061 is applicable to service provider? No, sir, it is for goods. It is only for goods, not for service provider. It is very clearly written, sale of goods and not service provider. This was Subra from Vijayawada. Now, next question, whether TCS is applicable on work contract.
Girish ji, your voice is breaking.
Then it is different thing. Otherwise, if it is not goods, if it is only relating to service, no. And then, can you hear me now? This is some problem at your side, because I said he is talking about works contract. Whether TCS is applicable on works contract. If in works contract you have collected TDS, then it is not applicable because of second proviso to section 206A. But if you have raised two bills, one for goods, one for the work, then it goes for goods, you will have to collect TCS of 206C1H, and for work, you will have to collect TDS under 194C. Next question, how is the amount of TCS to be collected from the payer by raising a separate debit note or by adding a note at the end of the invoice? Here, at the end of the invoice, you just mentioned the moment the payment exceeds 50 lakh, please pay us the TCS. But you should not charge in the bill. You may write a note that whenever your payment exceeds 50 lakh, please pay us TCS also, for which you may raise a debit note or they may pay extra to you and you may send a debit. Next is sale consideration received after 110/20 pertaining to sale made prior to 31/30/20, whether to be considered for TCS? Yes. If during the year you have received more than 50 lakh, October onwards, after including April to September also, year of sale is not relevant. The sale may be of the past year, not relevant. The relevant is the consideration received. If the consideration received exceeds 50 lakh, including from April to September, you will have to collect TCS. There is no problem of that. Whether sale of live poultry birds liable for TCS can be treated as goods for section 2061H. Now he says, I'm selling birds. Is it goods or it is not goods? Sir, the definition does not describe. The animals are also goods in a way. Unless until it is separately said, animal is not part, it is not. They have not said that if it is agriculture produce, there will be no TCS. So far, they have not said. Let them come out with that, then there may be a difficult thing. Next, is the limit of 50 lakh per customer or entry level? Sir, it is per customer during the year. And every year 50 lakh. It's not that first year like 3 lakh, next year is from 1 rupee. No. Every year, if you receive more than 50 lakh, you start collecting it. First year up to September, there was no need to collect it. But if already up to 1st September, the sale collection is more than say 80 lakh or 50 lakh, no problem. Collect from 1st October. But if the amount collected from 1st April to 30th September is only 40 lakh, then you wait for another 10 lakh and after that start collecting it at the rate of 0.1%. Clear? Next question is 85 lakh sale of goods to Mr. A during the financial year. No sale to Mr. A during 20 to September 20. Total sale amount received from customer in October 20. Whether the transaction is liable to TCS? Certainly, it is liable to TCS. Certainly, sir. Would it be advisable to include the tax? I've already answered. It is not advisable to include that TCS in the invoice. It is not advisable. Interesting explanation, well gone, of application of applicability of TCS. The sale of goods is 8 crore in 1920 and service 4 crore. How can service tax service 4 crore? It is not sale of goods, but that business includes service also. For compliance purpose, service will also be included because it is said total receipt, sale or gross receipt exceed 10 crore of the business. Of the business can include service also. That is only for covered under 206C1H. And once you are covered, you have to collect not on the service. You have to collect only the collection of sale of goods and not service. For the purpose of coverage, you will take the sale of service of the last year. But for the purpose of collecting, you will not collect on the sale of service. Clear? Next. Supplier raises invoice with TCS at the time of sale and deposit the same in the succeeding month without waiting for collection. How can you do it? The collection is only the criteria. Sale is not the criteria of that, deposit the money. Unless and until you have collecting, you cannot deposit. It is only on the collection and not on the sale. So therefore, it has to be done at the time of collection and only in the month of collection when it exceeds 50 lakh. Today you have sold the goods for 2 crore in the month of October. You have not collected at all during the year. Then what will you do? How can you deposit? We say I sold the goods for 2 crore and let's say I'm selling the goods on January 1st of 2 crore and I have given credit of 90 days. I'll be collecting only next year. Then how can you deposit the TCS of this year? There is no collection of this year. So I will not say no, only collection. Is software considered as goods? Whether TCS provision applicable? Same problem of software. If it is off the shelf, it is goods. If it is not off the shelf, if it is customized, then it is service. So therefore, off the shelf, but you buy Tele, it is goods. You buy SAP, it is goods. But when you customize it, then it is you pay royalty for that. Then it is not goods. There is another problem which we are facing. So TCS 2061 is applied sale made to SEZ and 100% EO. Yes, it is applicable to sale made to SEZ or EO unit because you are not exporting goods to a country outside India. Are you exporting to a country outside India? I'm not exporting to a country outside India. I am not a person who is exporting to a country outside India. So therefore, I will have to collect TCS if I sell goods to SEZ unit or EO unit. Next, will sale of goods to
on the software question, if I buy a software which is off the shelf and then I customize it, how will you treat that case, sir?
Sir, that customize, so somebody else does it is a different. When I buy from goods, if the value is more than 50 lakh, and the seller will collect the TCS if it is more than 50 lakh, otherwise they will not collect. No, seller will collect the TCS if it is more than 50 lakh collection.
Sir, for the example of SAP, there are many companies where they customize the SAP for the working of it. In that case,
Are they charging royalty or they are charging as off the shelf made according to you and sold to you? And if they are
Okay.
charging then the matter is over. Then it is a sale of
Sir,
goods.
generally they use the word license fees.
License fee every year they charge. If the every year
For
charge, that means
maintenance.
it's a royalty. Then it's a royalty. Then it is royalty every year. If they charge off the shelf means they don't charge every year. If they charge every year, it is not goods. Coming to next one. I have already told you SEZ may be a deemed export for the purpose of income tax or for the purpose of GST, but it is not an export. It has not been told that it is an export. There is the word deemed export. Here it is the word export to a country outside India. The word used is different. So therefore, according to me, when you sell to SEZ unit, you will have to collect TCS. And SEZ unit are supposed to pay income tax. You know that because they are supposed to pay MAT or AMT. If they don't pay tax, they have to pay MAT or AMT. You know that. So therefore, TCS collected, they will get the credit for that. Because SEZ unit are not exempt for payment of income tax. They have to pay MAT or AMT. So therefore, there is nothing to worry. Next point. If 27C is collected from whether TCS has to be, I've already answered. Rather, it was my question. They are putting a question to me on my question only. It's a question which I want to tell you, but I can't help it. According to me, you should do it. If my turnover exceeds 50 lakh per current year, then it is necessary. Please, I have nothing to do with the turnover, Shrikant Prakash. I have nothing to do with the turnover. I have to do only with the collection. My turnover may be 10 crore, my turnover may be 10 lakh this year, my turnover may be 0 this year. But if I'm collecting more than 10, 50 lakh on the sale of goods, which might have taken place today or last year, I have to collect TCS. Timber would for another road mode other than forest lease, not deducted tax. No, there is a TCS in the case of timber. If the TCS collected, you are covered, not covered. If TCS not collected, then you have to do under 206C1H. While defining seller, it says sale, turnover, gross receipt.
Sir, question number 22, Giriji. Question number 22.
I go back. Whether the 50 lakh is pan wise or 10 wise, sir, it is not 10 wise. It is pan wise. If it is of the seller, seller is not 10 wise. Seller is pan wise. It is the SSC. How can seller be 10 wise? Seller cannot be 10 wise. You may be having a 10 depots and you're selling there. You will have to see to that. You have to collect from there. I can't help it. Seller wise, not 10 wise. The TDS is 10 wise. You may have taken this. This is not 10 wise. This seller has to collect it, not the other. So this is not that. Then while defining seller, it says sales, turnover, gross receipt of 10 crore. But in respect of collecting TCS, it says 10 on sale consideration exceed 50 lakh. I said, please do not read the word sale consideration of 50 lakh. I have told you it is amount received 50 lakh. Sale value, forget. It is wrongly written. Forget. To power of removing difficulty, they said we have nothing to do with the sale. We have to see only with that. Now another very question important, but I'll answer that. Please remind me. I'm talking about discount. I'm talking about credit note. I will be talking about return a little later. Let me first answer this. Sir, what about nationalized insurance company? What is this national insurance company? They are liable to pay tax. They are liable to collect. You are collecting TCS from them. Are they not nationalized bank? What is so special about nationalized insurance company? They are like nationalized bank. State Bank of India pays income tax. Punjab National Bank pays income tax. Life Insurance Corporation may not pay tax because it may be separately exempt under some section. But General Insurance Corporation may have to pay tax. Tax has nothing to do. They are separate. They have to say life insurance. Don't take it that way. They will have to do it. Next says, even if their income may be exempt, still you have to do it. Next, sir. Please cover merchanting trade transaction. Same thing. You are not exporting. One who is exporting will not collect. If you are not, you are telling to here merchant exporter exporting, they will not collect. You will not. You have sold to the merchant exporter here, they will not. Now I'm coming to a very important point. Sir, in a circular, what they have written, that there will be no impact of with GST. They have written there will be no impact. People are thinking that you have to add a discount in the collection. No, not at all. Not at all. When you have given discount, automatically party's account will be credited, and the party account is credited, you will not collect it. It is on collection, not on anything. If you have issued any credit note, automatically account is credited. So what are you going to recover? The net amount. So it has no impact. If there is a sale return, you already return the goods, already collected. If you give discount, no problem, nothing to be adjusted. It is already adjusted in the account. Sale return already adjusted. Discount already adjusted. If due to some quality not correct, you have given a credit note, already adjusted. I'm not concerned with the sale. I'm concerned with the amount collected. And the amount collected is the net amount which paid. After TDS, after sale return. Am I right? Am I right? That is the point. Next question. Whether merchandise I've already done. Whether TCS is applicable on sale of electricity? Yes. To electricity. One company, electricity company selling to the another electricity company. No TCS. But electricity company selling to me, to you, to your factory, TCS is there. But each other, no TCS. B2B, no TCS. Electricity company. Next one. If is TCS to be collected on adjustment of raw material cost by buyer? I've already told you that I cannot tell you answer this. I sold goods to Abhishek. Abhishek told to me, yet to be answered, yet to come, will answer it later. Whether TCS applicable on sale of shares, I told you it is applicable. One, your turnover of last year or gross receipt should exceed 10 crore. Two, if you have sold those shares through recognized stock exchange or clearing corporation, no. But if you are selling off market, or if you are selling share of the unlisted company, yes, provided your turnover of the goods of the business of the last year exceeds rupees 10 crore. Then only it is covered. Otherwise, it is not covered. 100% EOU already explained. Yes, it is there. Whether TCS to be collected or...
Sir, 100% EOU received consideration on sale of SCIS script. Whether that attracts TCS.
What is SCI script? You have to explain me.
Naveen ji.
I have no knowledge.
So please don't use
understanding. They have to tell us what is it. They write short. Everybody may not say. If I say I'm living in GK, how do you know what is GK? But everybody knows it is Greater Kailash. Everybody knows it is Greater Kailash. But you may not be knowing sitting in. So I don't know what is SCIS. Whether TCS to be collected on selling power. Power I've already explained. Transfer of receivable. Sir, receivable is not a goods. If it is goods, actionable claim is not goods. So there is nothing. No, actionable claim it is not. Sir, is TCS applicable on sale of goods by SEZ? Already answered. Please explain about the phrase.
Debit note raised for TCS, whether it requires report of GST. This one, sir.
Where it is written? Oh, as a top. Is the debit note raised for TCS required report for GST? Sir, don't ask me GST. Ask me income tax. Don't ask me GST. I know the answer, but I will not give the answer. Unless and until I'm very expert in this, I don't give the answer. I know the answer, but I will not give. Ask me about income tax, nothing else. Next point. Please explain about the phrase previous year under section 206E, every person being a seller who receives any amount or as consideration for sale of any goods or as aggregate of sale value. Do not read this line. That's why I asked Abhishek to read it. I knew it, you will be confused on these lines. Only read the amount collected as consideration. Sale has nothing to do. That's why I'm telling you, you people go mad reading the section, but read the circular. They have said sale has nothing to do with that. Sale can be last year, sale can be current year, sale can be anything, or even advance. Chaliye. Is TCS needs to be applied on gross collection, which includes GST? Yes, yes, including GST. I got it done. I told you the reason, because otherwise I will not be able to know whether I have to deduct 5% or 10% or whatever, 12%, whatever. If collection is net of TDS, TDS is a different thing. In TCS, they have said in the circular that you have to include the GST. You don't have to deduct the GST. I had sold the goods 49,80,000, installation charges 21,000, TDS not applicable, whether TCS applicable or all 21,000. Sir, if you read two separate bill, I will say no need. If you read one bill, then the collection will be more than you will have to do it. Raise separate bill for what you call for installation, separate. Raise this separate. So therefore, that is not covered in 194C. This is not covered in 206C1H. Next, many customers, in fact, large companies refuse to accept debit note for TCS. They insist that it should be on the bill. Are you noticing, Ms. Mind? It cannot be on bill, my dear. Ye to SAP people have made your mindset change. These SAP people wanted to sell there. They have committed a mistake. Now, what is the guarantee that next year you will receive 50 lakh? What is the guarantee? And you don't have to collect. How can you pay TCS or how can you charge TCS? According to me, you should not do it. But still you want to do it. I have no problem. I have to take the collection. I'm not bothered about your charging in the bill. Who is bothered? I'm bothered about whenever you receive, whether you have paid a TCS by 7th of the next month, if you have received more than 50 lakh, that's all. I'm not concerned. Do whatever you like. You want to involve yourself into difficulty, most welcome. I will not say anything. Better to issue a debit note. It is easier to manage. If you think this is easier, most welcome, sir. Do we need to collect TCS on the goods supplied to Food Corporation? Why not? What is so special about Food Corporation of India? They are liable. They will have to pay. It is a separate body. It is not government. They will have to do it. The debit note option depends from customer to customer on its sales choice. Sir, Srikant ji, it is your choice, whatever you want to do. I have given suggestion. Rest is yours. Rest is yours. This is with regard to 206C1G on TCS applicable. Yes. On remittances of amount outside India in 206C1G applicable by money exchange or travel cards, asking because for money exchange, the amount received is not for the purpose of outward remittance, but for the sir, this is under liberalized remittance scheme. Please note the word LRS. And LR says when the money is remitted to a country outside India, under LRS, you can remit $250,000 every year. It is not for non-resident. It is LRS sent by a resident to a country outside India. An authorized dealer now is under an obligation to collect TCS from you at the time. If there is already collected somewhere else, it is different. Otherwise, authorized or TDS deducted. Otherwise, a authorized dealer will collect the TCS from you. He will remit the money after collecting the TCS, provided the total amount sent during the year exceed rupees 7 lakh. In case of situation of tax exempted buyer being a farmer, where it is written the tax exempted buyer you cannot collect the TCS from tax exempted buyer. So far they have not written. They said any buyer of goods. I have not written. So I can't say that it may be farm product, it may be plantation, it may be timber. If it is there under 206C1, okay. Otherwise, you have to collect it. You have to collect it, sir. I'm in the service of travel. When I sold a car, will TCS applicable? Sir, it is applicable only when it is more than 50 lakh receipt. Yeah, one car you are not selling for more than 50 lakh. When the payment is more than 50 lakh, then only you will collect TCS. Na? When the payment is not more than 50 lakh, how will you collect the TCS? No question. The SSC is buying goods from A and selling goods to B, and B are sister concern, and now they are proposing to pass a I've already taken up this question when I sold goods to Abhishek. Abhishek is also my sister concern, my friend's son, so therefore there is no problem. So I've already explained to you, this is contra entry which we are doing, book adjustment. About that we will come to know later. I mean, seller choice is for a few customer, a tax invoice and debit note. It is your choice, whatever you do. We are not concerned whether you issue debit note, you do whatever you like. There is no hard and fast rule. Only thing is, when you collect more than 50 lakh, TCS collected and deposited by 7th of the next month. That's all. While reverting the TCS collected on realization of earlier year receivable, should we have to state the assessment? No question of assessment here in Challan. No question. It is collection during the year. Where it is written of sale? Where it is written of sale? It is collection during the year, my dear. And you wait and watch, Abhishek. Something more is coming. 26 EQ. They will say, give the opening data, then sold during the year, collected during the year, and closing balance. And you will have it. This is going to come. Let me tell you, I'm warning you. Opening data, sale of goods during the year, amount received during the year, closing data. Now you're caught from every angle. Understood? But you have to collect only from amount collected. I'm very careful. Be careful about this. I'm telling you inside information, and you should be very clear about it. Next, should we collect a TCS on the goods value, including I've already explained. It has nothing to do with goods value. It has a received amount received, and GST not to be deducted from amount received. That's all. GST not to be deducted for amount received. Next question. Invoice is for 1 year and collection is the next year. Thank you very much. I've already answered. You have not to do the advice part. You have to receive the amount. Don't compare it with TDS. TDS is separate. It is separate. Whether TCS is applicable for bank, why not for bank? Bank is not selling goods. But if the bank sell goods, some item, if they sell it because of some, then they may have to do it. If the bank turnover of the business exceeds 10 crore, obviously, and they sell some goods to you, then I can't help it, because sometimes they do auction. Auction also covered under goods sale, so I can do it. Is software answer already given? Sir, impact of TCS on sale return? No impact, because you have to collect TCS on the money received and not on sale return. It is already adjusted in the ledger, so there is no question. If we sell software, I already answered. Software, please already answer. And DC Jain also discussed with me of the software part. Next point.
This also
Collection including GST, and hence during the also. Last year service income more than 10 crore. I have not said business income. And you this time you sell goods, covered. A vendor provides both services and goods. My understanding is turnover of service also should be included in calculation of 50 lakh, but TCS should be collected only. Sir, this is no. For supply of goods, last year turnover, but this year only collection of sale of goods, 50 lakh. Rest 50 lakh not covered. SVV will then get covered under 194J software. If it is covered under 194J, it is not covered here, because TDS will be collected. But if one is covered under 194J, then it is not covered here. Already know. If you have deducted TDS, you are not covered here. What is status of advance collection? I've already told you. Advance collection also included. It is a collection which is important, not the sale which is important. It is a collection for sale. That's all. Last year, service income more than, I've already answered many times, because I've already answered. If we continue sale, if we have continuous sale buyer who keeps paying ad hoc amount each month, the amount is generally adjusted with debtors outstanding in FIFO basis. What is FIFO before? I don't know FIFO or I don't know LIFO. I only know collection received is more than 50 lakh. Now, Mr. DC Sen immediately said like this, because he's Marwari, and Marwari knows only this. Marwari only knows this. I'm concerned with money. I'm concerned with collection. And if my collection is more than 50 lakh, I have to collect it, sir. I'm not concerned with my sale of goods. Collection over the sale of goods. Collection for the sale of goods. Sir, does this mean if there is a bad debt and sale proceed not realized, there is no applicability? Yes, there is no applicability. If there is a bad debt, you have not received it. Where is the question of TCS? TCS is only on the collection. If the money is not received, you don't have to do anything. Nothing. If my turnover for 2021 is less than 10 crore, should I be liable to TCS? No. Next year. If 1920 for this year, next year 21-22, if your turnover 2021 is less than 10 crore, 21-22, you don't have to collect TCS. You don't have to collect TCS. Even if you receive more than 50 lakh, you don't have to collect. If raw material cost is deducted from sale proceed for raw material supplied to buyer, what is this raw material? How TCS? My dear, I told you, see the 194C section. They've explained the raw material. If you are buying the raw material from him and you are separately charging, and he bought separately charged for raw material to you, then he will always take the TCS. But if he's given the supply, you buy from the same buyer, then in that case TDS is there in 194C. Next one, if raw, do I have applied for TCS number also? What is the number? 10 is the 10 number is the sufficient number. 10 is for both for TDS and TCS. So you don't have to apply any number. You already have TDS number, same number. If you don't have, then only you have to apply for 10. Whether TCS included for sale of shares, I've already replied. Preeti Jain, I've already applied of sale of share. If your turnover last year is more than 10 crore, you will have to collect TCS even for the sale of share if they are not routed through recognized stock exchange or clearing corporation. Done? Any other, sir? Any other question? Or any other question from Abhishek side?
I think all questions are covered. Chairman has probably got disconnected, I think, so we are not able to see him. Selva, are there any more questions? I'm not able to.
Yeah, Abhishek. Abhishek, I think there was a disconnection from my end.
Chairman
Yes,
again
yes.
come. Chairman has again come.
Yeah. Chairman, I think sir has finished all the questions on the screen. Is there anything else that?
Yes,
Yes.
I will just put the new questions on the screen. Sir.
Your voice
Couldn't
is
hear
breaking,
anything.
Chairman, but yeah.
Abhishek.
Not able to hear you, sir.
Am
I will actually
audible?
I will read out a couple of the questions till Chairman's audio is fixed. Girishji, Thomas Kenny has asked, sir, what are the provisions for e-commerce companies? Are these applicable?
194.0. In the case of 194.0, e-commerce operator at the time of debiting the crediting the e-commerce participant or at the time of making the payment to e-commerce participant will collect the TDS at the rate of 1%. Will deduct the TDS while making the payment. It is TDS. 194 is TDS. He will deduct while making the payment or crediting the account of the e-commerce participant. Now, if it is an individual HUF and the total turnover does not exceed 7.5, then it is not collected. 5 lakh. Otherwise, because they are saying people now these days are selling through Amazon, selling through Flipkart or many e-commerce operator, and they are selling their goods through there, and they are not showing their income. They are supplying goods through them. They are not showing income, and there are certain goods like books. There is no GST on books. You know that, Abhishek, there is no GST on books. They are selling these books through e-commerce operator. e-commerce operator. Now e-commerce operator are making payment and they are not showing that as, because there is no GST. How will they be caught? They said nothing doing. Every person will have to file a return, because that will come TDS deducted under 26 AS. Now you cannot hide it. You can. They are monitoring everything. This is the system. They want to check everybody. They have left only up to 5 lakh, very small. Otherwise, they say, now if it is a sale of 5 lakh, my dear, how can their income be more than 5 lakh? So that's why they have exempted them. Otherwise, everyone, the participant, look here, TDS will be collected at the time of credit by the e-commerce operator at the time of crediting your bill, or at the time of making payment to you at the rate of 1%. This is what is TDS under 194O. 194O.
CA Preeti Jain has asked, sir, when sale of shares is shown as sales in the previous year and exceeds 10 crores, and if this year on the basis of merger and acquisition receives it's more than 50 lakhs, will TCS
My
be
dear,
applicable?
I would like to ask her whether the sale was a business inventory or was a capital gain. If it is a sale from, it was a business income, obviously then you are covered. If it was a capital gain last year, you are not covered under 10 crore. 10 crore should be of a business. That's why I told you, Abhishek, read the definition and make them understand that for the purpose of compliance, you will be covered only when you are carrying on a business and turnover the business of the last year exceed 10 crore. That is the basic thing. Before you go up, see down. First see down. Are you covered under seller? If you are yes, then go up. If you are not covered here down, then don't go up. Don't go up. That is the point.
CA Harshad Patel has asked, excess amount received by mistake, whether TCS has to be made.
Sir, by mistake, what is the problem in it? Are you refunding it? If you are refunding immediately, is okay. Otherwise, that means you have not collected it. If you have collected it and you have not refunded it, then it is advance. It's okay. Then advance, you deduct the collect the TCS. If you immediately refund, so there is no collection by you, then you have refunded.
Sir, can you explain the purpose of this TCS? Is it for tracking any transaction, or
Tracking,
is there any
only
motivation?
tracking, only tracking. Only tracking. I told you na, so far, except 206C1 or car, there was no TCS on goods. There was no TDS. There is no TDS on goods. You know that. There is no TDS on goods. You know that there is no TDS on capital gain. There is no TDS. You know na, Abhishek. Wait and watch. Very you make this may also come under. Either they will pay with TDS, or they will get the from the information from the stock exchanges, and your capital gain will automatically be collected, automatically be determined, and it will be there in 26 years. Everything is, to the extent technologically possible, they are going to collect your information. India has become very advanced. They want to check everything. You wait and watch. After few years, they will say, this is the return of you. Please sign it. I have included all your income. We have the information of your income. Please sign that. This is going to be the position. Now, even if you receive dividend for less than 5,000 rupees, no TDS deducted, it will come into your 26 years. Even 10 rupees coming your 26 years. You cannot hide. You cannot hide. Sir, this is technology which is putting us into difficulty. Earlier you could hide it. Now you cannot hide. Even for tax collect TDS on bank deposit, FDR. Now it is 40,000 rupees. You know that now. Less than 40,000 there is no TDS. But every information is coming. So even if your putting interest on FDR is less than 40,000, it will be in your 26 years. Then you will be helpless, and you will have to show that. That is the point I'm telling you. You wait and watch. Things are going to be a very difficult proposition.
I think most CAs will be happy if that 112A schedule gets filled, sir, in the IPL.
It is going to be there very soon. Don't worry. It will be there.
I think, Chairman, probably one or two more questions we will take in that.
Yeah, you are able to see it on the screen, Abhishek?
Oh, yes, yes, visible.
What are the provision for e-com? I've already done. Sir, SSC buys raw material. Yeah, I've already answered this question. Answered already. Answered, sir. It is the answer you answered. Should
Okay.
turn over a good which have already suffered TCS of the purpose of determining, sir, the purpose of determining turnover for last year, TCS paid or not paid, we are not concerned. Goods. It says a turnover or gross rate of the business. Where it is written TDS or TCS or not. Even services including in the business. So please don't tell me about TDS already deducted on that or not. No question. Turnover of the business. So if any person doing e-commerce on his own platform, is there any TCS on his own? How can you deduct TCS for your own? Your own commerce, you are supplying your own goods. So then that will be 50 lakh problem. If you are selling goods on your own, then it is 50 lakh. Collection more than 50 lakh, you collect TCS, that's all. Sir, if he sell goods now for more than 50 lakh, will TCS? Selling goods is not important. Collection money more than 50 lakh is important. You have already seen Mr. Chairman doing like this. Mr. Chairman doing like this. So that means collection money. Collection money. Sir, certain taxpayer need not file ITR. They will have to file now ITR to collect the TCS. I can't help it. They will have to collect the TCS to get the refund. Whether the TCS is applicable after the value of 50 lakh limit, it's not a value of 50 lakh, it is the collection of 50 lakh, not the value of the goods. Can't they make it a TDS instead of TCS? What is the logic? Please don't ask me logic. The text, what is the logic of giving exemption of 2,50,000 and not 10 lakh? In law, there is no logic. Don't talk about logic in law. Sir, sale is made through agent to the customer. Bill is given on customer name. And the response, there is one, we call it one Kacha Adatiya. There is another called as Pakka Adatiya. Kacha Adatiya is making only commission. He is not liable. He is selling on your behalf. Pakka Adatiya first buys the goods and sell on his own behalf. So he is covered. Pakka Adatiya is covered. Kacha Adatiya is not covered.
I think we have covered all the questions, Chairman.
Yes,
Chairman is waiting the 8 o'clock to be over.
Thank you.
He doesn't want to give you 10 minutes also.
No, sir, I was waiting for the even last question to get over. We have covered all the questions.
I have no problem. I have no
Thank
problem.
you so much,
I will
Giri,
answer
sir.
all
As
questions.
usual, we enjoyed. Abhishek, if there are any questions, just check if there are any further.
I'm
I'll
telling
just
you,
check.
he's not going to spare me up to 8 o'clock.
I think
Until the last question.
Let the people watch IPL now.
two questions have come, sir. I will just read that out.
Please tell me.
TCS is applicable when barter trade is made. Buying, I think sir has already explained that.
Barter is already explained, sir.
Yes. Next is CA Sivaraman has said shareholding, trading details, GST, everything has been covered. PAN details are given. How can there be evasion? I think with regard to this TCS provision, he is
Abhishek, 60,000 crore rupees input credit has been taken. 60,000 crore rupees without material being supplied. And that is why 271 AAD has come in income tax. Right? Go for false entry, go for omission of entry, liable for penalty. This is the mind. You know, this is you try to find out the loophole in the law. And they don't want to give you the opportunity of finding out the loophole in the law. They are going to catch you from all angles. This is because of technology. This is because of technology, not because of any other. They are not become intelligent. It is artificial intelligence which has become intelligent. Name itself is artificial intelligence. Name itself is artificial intelligence.
Thank you so much, Girish ji. I think with that we have covered. Yes, Chairman.
Thank you so much, Giri. We are enlightened with your, especially the Q&As. He has covered almost all the questions. And probably now people, when they go home, they'll have absolute clarity to whom TCS is applicable and to whom it is not. Thank you so much, Girishji. Abhishek, over
Thank
to you.
you.
Propose the well. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Girishji. As always, a spellbinding address and especially your question and answer session where you leave no stone unturned. It was a truly wonderful session and we all loved listening to you. We'd love to have you again, physically invite you when things get better. And, it's a true pleasure.
This
as
was only
always.
one section, so that's why we have to take a lot of questions. Only one section. How can you continue with the section? You have to continue with the question because section he read out. He read out the whole section. So I was to continue the questions only.
Thank you, Girishji. And I will also
Welcome,
take this
welcome.
opportunity to announce that we have another program on 15th of October on the frequently asked questions in tax audit. CA V Ramnath will be joining us from Coimbatore, and 15th at 6 p.m. You're all busy with tax audit season, so please do join in. And any doubts that you're having, we can take it up during that session. So with this, I will
Thank
continue
you very
my
much.
future announcements. Thank you so much, Girishji.
Everyone should
Thank
take
you,
care,
Chairman.
stay healthy. Thank you. All the best. Take care. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
And
All the
thank you
best. All the
Stay
best.
home,
Take care.
stay safe. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you all of you. Thank you.